Alright, Estudiantes, what we're going to do today is we are going to go over the formulas for acceleration. So the first one is A is equal to Vf minus Vi over t, where A is for acceleration. Oops, sorry. Where A is for acceleration, Vf is for the final velocity, and Vi is for the initial velocity, and t is time. And so you can usually figure out what goes where by remembering A is going to be in meters per second squared or meters per second per second. Velocities should be in meters per second, time should be in seconds, and in a second we'll talk about a distance. Anytime you got a distance, it should be measured in a meter. Alright, so here's that formula. The next formula is d is equal to 1/2 at squared plus vit. And the two times here and here should be the same. So this is your second formula. Your third formula may or may not get used much, but you need to know it anyway. That's the average velocity should be equal to distance over time, or Vf plus Vi over 2. Like, you can use either of those formulas to calculate the average velocity. And then the last formula we talked about today was Vf squared equals Vi squared plus 2AD. Now, you can do all of the formulas, you can do all the problems without this formula. It'll add an extra step normally. Okay, so how do you use these formulas? So let me just write them all down at once. So we got A is equal to Vf minus Vi over t. We've got d is equal to 1/2 at squared plus vit, plus vit. And then we've got Vf squared equals Vi squared plus 2ax, or sorry, not x, 2ad. And then V average equals d over t plus V average is equal to Vf plus Vi over 2. There we go. So we got all those formulas. So how do we use these formulas? Alright, so what we're going to do is essentially you need to write down everything you have. So go ahead every time you get a problem and list out all of the variables that you have available to you. Then what you're going to do is you're going to figure out which ones are known. So let's just say that we know acceleration, we know final velocity, and we know time, and we're looking for the initial velocity. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find a problem where I have those four variables and initial velocity is the only thing I don't know. So if I look, I know acceleration, I know final velocity, and I know time. So I've got to use that, and then initial velocity is my only unknown, so I can use that to solve for initial velocity. What if, though, instead of these being known, what if I was looking for the acceleration and I knew the initial velocity and I knew the distance and I knew the time? Well, normally when we solve for acceleration we use the formula right here, but in this case I don't know the final velocity, so that would be unknown as well as acceleration, so I can't use it, so I've got to use something else. So the only thing that I could think of to solve for A would be this guy. And this guy would allow you to solve for A because you would have distance, you would have time, and you would have the initial velocity. And you would just be solving for the one unknown, which would be acceleration. So just as a final word of advice, it's going to be extraordinarily helpful for you to list out all of the things that you know, and then make sure you have those formulas available to you. Make sure they're memorized so that you can go through them and see which ones it is possible to use. And always remember that you're always looking for a formula that only has one unknown. Alright? Feel free to let me know if you have any questions.